friends, welcome. I'm Christina, and today's sequence is intended to help ease any of our screen-related pains and postures. So the first thing you can do is set up your screen so that it's eye level. When we have our screen below us, our body pulls forward, taking our head, our shoulders, and we get that rounding in the spine. And over time, it's not going to look good or feel good. And I don't know about you, but I'm all about looking good and feeling good. So today we're going to start standing on our mats. I've been spending a lot of time sitting. My hips, my back, starting to feel it. So let's stand up and get moving. So to get started, we're going to bring our hands to our hips and have your feet spread about hip width distance so that that weight is evenly spread throughout both feet, both legs. And then have a little bend in your knees. And then find that space just below your belly button, your lower tummy muscles. And rather than thinking of sucking them in, think of lengthening up. You get all that space throughout the front of your body so that your breath can go to those parts of the body. And then roll the fronts of the shoulders back, nice open space across the chest. Relax your arms by your hips. And take a moment. Notice how the body feels to stand with support. Maybe you feel a little bit taller, stronger, maybe even a little bit lighter. Then bring your hands onto your hips. You're going to shift your weight onto one foot. Start to bend that opposite knee to lift your foot off of the mat, and then draw some circles with your toes, getting some movement in your ankle joint. And then make a few circles in the opposite direction. Now this is balancing, so if you want to come to a wall to use it to balance, go ahead and do that. And then point and flex the foot a few times. And then make a few circles with your knee, getting some movement in the hip joints, excuse me. And then if you need to touch your foot down a few times to balance, that's okay. A few circles in the opposite direction, and then let that foot touch down, opposite side. Bend your knee. When you feel steady and ready, lift your foot up, and then draw some circles with your toes. A few circles in the opposite direction, and then point and flex the foot a few times. And then relax the foot and draw some circles with your knee. A few circles in one direction, and then move in the opposite direction. And then stand again on your 2 feet. Feels good to stand on 2 feet. All right, and then start to shake out your legs like you're flicking off water from your toes. Move side to side, and then bring your hands into it. Start shaking out your hands, and then shake out your shoulders, and then shake out your booty. Might look and feel a little silly, but it's actually really great for your body. Getting that movement. And then come back, stand up evenly on your 2 feet. Lift your arms out in front, out to the sides, and then start to bring your hands together. You're going to interlace your fingers, and then you're going to turn your palms away from you. Now check in with your shoulders. Move your shoulders back, nice open chest, little bend in the knees. Zip up those lower tummy muscles, and then start to take your arms up overhead. And then find your breath. Start to breathe in to the space right out in front of you. Feel that nice stretch on the sides of the body, up through the armpits, up through the arms. Nice stretch in the hands. And then taking in a deep inhale. On your exhale, you're going to move your arms and your upper body over towards the right. Feel that nice stretch on the left side of the body. Send a few breaths there. And try and keep your weight evenly distributed throughout both feet. It tends to want to move, shift your weight to whatever direction you're leaning towards. So keep it evenly throughout both feet. And then on an inhale, come back up. Exhale over towards the left. Find a few breaths here. Nice, friends. And then inhale, coming back up. Relax your arms, shake out your shoulders, shake out your hands, and then make a few alternating shoulder rolls. And you give a little bounce here too, bending your knees, and then make a few circles in the opposite direction. Nice, and then relax the shoulders, and we're gonna come down onto our mats or whatever space you have and finding our table pose. So spread your fingers wide, hips above the knees, shoulders above the wrists, and root down through your finger pads. This is gonna help take some of the weight off of the heels of your palms as well as your wrists. And then we'll move through our cat-cow. So for cat pose, you'll lower your pelvis down, abdomen lifts up, gaze comes in between the hands. On an inhale, we're gonna lift our sitting bones up, lower our tummy down, open up our chest, take your gaze out in front of you. Exhale, round the spine, cat pose. Inhale, coming through cow. A few more times, exhale through cat. Inhale through cow. Last time, exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Nice job, friends. Come back to that neutral tabletop position. Keep rooting down through the finger pads, and then make a few circles with the pelvis. You could get the head involved here too if you like. You can make these circles as big or as small as you like. And then make a few circles in the opposite direction. Nice, and then start to come back through center. Separate your knees a comfortable wide distance if you're using a mat, about the width of your mat. And then bring your big toes in to touch. You're gonna start to sit your hips back towards your heels, but before you start to lower your head down, so you might know we're moving into child's pose, I want you to think of lifting up that space just above your bottom, right around your tailbone. Imagine that space like where dogs have a tail. So imagine you're a dog and you're lifting your tail up. Zip up your tummy muscles and then slowly start to lower your head down. You could bring your head onto the mat, or you could bend the arms at the elbows, rest your forehead on top. And then come back to your breath. Start to deepen the breath. And on your next inhale, you're gonna lift your hips up off of your heels, walk your knees in, your feet about hip width distance, coming back to that tabletop position. And then extending your right leg back behind you. You're gonna start to lift the right toes off of the mat to lift that leg up. Foot is active, spread the toes wide. And then you could stay right here or extend the opposite arm out in front of you. So left arm, right leg. On an inhale, stretch long in opposite directions. Exhale to release down. Opposite side, stretch your left leg back. When you're ready, go ahead, lift those toes up, lifting the leg behind you. Tummy muscles are engaged. Length throughout the back of the neck up to the head. And then maybe you extend opposite arm out. Right arm, left leg. Big breath in, stretch. Exhale to lower down. Nice, my friends. This time, we're gonna walk the knees a few inches behind the hips. Toes stay tucked under if they're able to. And then you're gonna move your hips back towards your heels. Arms stay extended out in front of you. Lift your tail again. Engage the tummy muscles. Find that length throughout your neck, up through your head. And then hollow out your palms. I like to think of it from the Addams Family, or you can think of like gripping a cup, holding onto a cup or a small bowl. And then lift the undersides of the arms, lower the head down so that the ears come in line with the insides of the arms, and find your breath. This is puppy pose. And then leave your hips where they are. You're gonna walk your hands over towards the left. Think of lengthening the right hip back and feel that beautiful stretch on the right side of the rib cage, all the way up through the arm. Inhale, come back through center and move over towards the right. Think of rooting your left hip back this time, and then breathe into the left side of the body. Inhale, come back through center. Plant your hands down, press into the finger pads, and we're gonna move with our breath. On an inhale, we'll come up through this extended table. And on an exhale, you'll move back through puppy. And turning that into a flow. Inhale up, exhale back. Inhale up, exhale back. One more time, inhale up. This time when you exhale back, you could stay here in puppy, or you're gonna start to lift your knees up, lift your hips up to come into your downward dog. And then bend one knee, send the opposite heel towards the mat, and alternate that movement. Walking the dog, feeling that beautiful stretch in the backs of the legs. Nice, and then on your next exhale, lower your knees down. We'll find table one more time. And from here, we're gonna come into a twist. So you're gonna leave your right hand on the mat, rooting down through your finger pads, and you're gonna bring your left hand onto your hip. Find a little bit of hugging in sensation. Think of pulling the inner thighs in towards each other without actually doing it. That'll give you a little bit more stability, more awareness in the lower half of the body, so it feels engaged. And then start to twist from the navel up through the top of the head, moving that left shoulder back. Root down through those finger pads to help you twist. Your hand could stay on your hip, or you could reach the fingertips up towards the sky, in my case, or maybe the ceiling in your case. Big breath in. Exhale, lower your hand down. Opposite side. Leave your left hand down, root through the finger pads, and find your twist. Your hand could stay on your hip, or you reach your fingertips up. Exhale, lower your right hand down. Sit back into your puppy pose, so walk your knees back a few inches, puppy pose, or you could lift up in a downward dog. And come back to the breath. Deep inhales, slow exhales. And then walk your feet a little bit wider than your hips if you got your mat, about the width of your mat. Bend your knees a little bit deeper, so you've got that visible bend. And then lift your tail up towards the ceiling. And you can keep your knees bent or slowly start to straighten your legs at a comfortable level. And then as you root down through your finger pads, think of sending your hips back, fronts of the thighs, move you back, and find your breath. Find that length throughout the back of the neck. And then bend your knees again, start to walk them forward. In between your hands, forward fold. Now with all forward folds, you wanna make sure you're stable, yeah? So you need to bend your knees a lot to get your hands down onto the mat, or if you use blocks, onto your blocks. But you wanna feel support here. And then relax the back of the neck, relax the head. Find a little bit of that hugging in sensation, inner legs hug in, to start to engage the legs. And then slide your hands all the way up onto your hips. Keep that deep bend in your knees as you root down through your feet. Roll your shoulders back. Engage your tummy muscles and start to rise all the way up through standing. Nice, guys. All right. From here, you're gonna take that interlacing of your fingers again, but you're gonna bring it behind you. Yeah, your arms are gonna come behind you. So either interlacing your fingers together, if that's not accessible for you, you could use a belt or a tie or a dog leash so that you could comfortably bring your arms back behind you. So either holding onto your belt or interlacing your hands together. And then roll your shoulders back. Look down at your feet. Make sure weight's evenly distributed throughout both feet. Little bend in the knees. Zip up those lower tummy muscles. And then start to hug those shoulders back. Hugging your shoulder blades closer towards each other. Now you could stay right here or slowly start to extend the arms back behind you. And feel that beautiful open space across the chest. And send the breath right there. Nice, and then on an exhale, relax your arms. You could shake out your arms and your shoulders if you like a few times. We'll come through some standing poses. So standing poses are balancing poses as well. So if you want to use your wall, come and find your wall. All right, you can you're gonna separate your feet a comfortable distance apart and bring your hands onto your hips. And then you're gonna turn your left toes out. If you're using a mat, toes are gonna face the short end of your mat. Yep. And then zip up your tummy muscles. Find a little bit of that hugging in sensation to engage the legs. Roll the heads at the shoulders back, nice open chest. Big breath in. Exhale, bend your left knee over your left ankle. Pelvis moves right down. You keep that lift and length up to the front and the back of the body. And then you're gonna extend your arms out from your shoulders. If it's right for you, you're gonna turn your head, bring your gaze over your left fingertips. Warrior two pose. Strong, stable. From warrior two, we're gonna come into our extended side angle. We're gonna add a little twist onto this. So you're gonna bend your left forearm, the same arm that has the bent knee. And then you're gonna bring your forearm on top of your knee. Keep hugging your legs in. And then you're gonna bring your right hand to your hip. Then you're gonna twist open. Yep. And then find that length up through the front and the back of the body. Roll your shoulders back. Your hand could stay on your hip, or maybe you reach the fingertips up towards the sky, or you could hug that arm close by your ear. And find your breath. On an inhale, root down through the feet, lift yourself up, straighten that leg, relax your arms, pivot your left toes to come in the same direction as your right toes. Hands on your hips, other side. Turn your right foot out. Zip up those tummy muscles. Find that hugging in sensation of the legs. Roll the shoulders back. Big breath in. Exhale, send your right knee over your right ankle. Pelvis moves straight down. Take your arms out from your shoulders. And maybe you turn your head to look over your fingertips. Find your breath. Strong, supported warrior two. And then the same arm that has the bent knee, you're gonna bend that arm, forearm comes on top of the thigh, left hand comes to your hip, and then start to twist from the belly button up through the top of the head. Hand could stay on your hip, left hand could stay on your hip, or left fingertips up towards the sky, or you could start to lower that arm down by your ear. Find your breath. On an inhale, root down through your feet, straighten that front leg, relax your arms. You could heel toe your feet or jump your feet together and give a little shake of your legs. All right, we've got one more standing pose for you today. Take that comfortable wide stance again. And then bend your knees a little bit deeper. So you've got that visible bend. Hands come back to the hips. Roll the shoulders back, nice open chest. Zip up those tummy muscles. And then start to hinge forward from the hips, coming into your forward fold with your wide legs. And then once you've reached your level, lower your hands down, find that support. Inner legs keep hugging in, and as you root down through the feet, you can start to straighten the legs if that's right for you. Lifting your tail, tummy muscles engaged. Relax the back of the neck. Relax the jaw. Now you could leave your hands down, or you could start to interlace your hands back behind you, lifting your arms up. Shoulders roll back, nice open chest. Find the breath. And on your exhale, start to lower your hands down, bend your knees. You could heel toe your feet back together, hip width distance. Bend your knees, hands come to your hips, roll your shoulders back, engage your tummy muscles. Root down through your feet to rise up through standing. Nice. And then come to lay on your backs. Come back to your breath. Take a few deep inhales, slow controlled exhales. And then with your knees bent, feet on the floor, you're gonna bring your hands to the sides of your hips. And then start to press your feet into the floor. Roll your shoulders back, feel the backs of your shoulders. Your shoulder blades start to press into the floor. Back of the head gently presses into the floor, jaw stays soft. And on an inhale, start to lift your hips up towards the sky or the ceiling. Sitting bones start to lengthen down and you feel that beautiful stretch up through the front of the hips, hip flexors. Untuck the chin from the chest. Glutes, your bottom's engaged but not overly tensing. And find your breath. Send that breath right into that space just below your belly button. And then all the way up through your chest, that space just below your chin. One more deep inhale. Exhale, slowly lower your hips down. Invite your knees into your chest. You could gently rock side to side. And then bring your feet down onto the floor. You're gonna lift up your hips again, just like we did, but move your hips over towards the right. Just over towards the right so that your knees are in front of your hips. Your hips are back behind your knees. And then extend your arms out from your shoulders. Lift your feet up. Draw your legs close together and lower your knees over towards the left. Spinal twist, so knees are over towards the left. You're gonna twist your upper body in the opposite direction towards the right, working on getting that right shoulder down. But of course not causing any tension in that shoulder, so honor what feels best in your body. Then maybe you take your gaze over towards the right, and then breathe into that twist you feel on the right side of the body. On an inhale, turn your head back up, hug your legs in, engage your tummy muscles to help lift your knees up. Lower your feet down, press your feet into the floor, lift your hips up, and then move your hips over towards the left so that your hips are behind your knees. Lift your feet up and lower your knees over towards the right this time. Twisting your upper body in the opposite direction, open towards the left. Maybe your gaze comes to the left. And then send your breath and your awareness into the left side of the rib cage. And then hug your legs in towards each other. Turn your head up. Engage your tummy muscles and lift your legs back up through center. Lower your feet down. Lift your hips up to center your hips on your mat. And then separate your feet a little bit wider than your hips, about the width of your mat. And then let your knees rock side to side like windshield wipers on a car. And then bring your knees back up through center. Leave your feet separated wider than your hips. And you're gonna let your knees move in to touch, to rest your knees. And then bring your hands onto that space just below your belly button, your lower abdominal muscles. If you're comfortable, close your eyes. And then find the breath. And send the breath all the way down to that space just below the belly button. And on your next exhale, just return your breath to normal. And bring your arms to your sides. Walk your knees, your feet in, and then start to roll over onto one side. Pause a moment, gather your awareness, and then use your arms to help lift you up to find your supported seat. And then find that support, find that lift up of the lower abdominal muscles. Bring your hands on your space, on that space just behind your knees, your thighs. Roll the heads of the shoulders out and back. Nice open chest. Thanks for joining me. I'm Christina. If you liked what you saw today, please subscribe to my page, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Joining your palms together in front of heart center, honoring the light within all of us. Namaste.